Hey, what's up? This is Ross McKenzie, and I'm doing another review here on basically, and it's premiering this week, this Sunday. I'm so freaking excited. It took me about a couple of weeks to catch up, but we are going to be talking about The Walking Dead. Yes. So, this series was created by the director of The Shawshank Redemption, which was a great movie, extremely great movie. And so basically, it was directed from Frank Darabont, who did direct The Shawshank Redemption. And it's also directed by none other than a great producer who's produced a lot of incredible action movies like Terminator 2, The True Lies, stuff like that. Movies like on that sort of wavelength there. Galen Hurd, she's a great producer. She knows what action movies are. So we got a great director and a great producer there. This comes from a comic by the same title, The Walking Dead, who was made by Robert Kirkman. And I'll tell you what, the first season, I don't think it was the one show that basically made zombies pretty much universal. Even if you haven't seen The Walking Dead, you could come up to people and talk about it, and they would know exactly what the hell you're talking about. The show with the zombies. That's how widestream zombies have become now. And they didn't have that until you'd have to go way, way back until George Romero was releasing some of his more awesome zombie films like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead. That's when zombies were kind of like on the same plane length that they are right now. And you could kind of compare it to that time where basically zombies were kind of just as popular as vampires now. So basically what the first season of The Walking Dead has to deal with is it has to deal with two survivors. Okay, now this review would be extremely long if I name every single character in there. But from this series' point of view, this season's point of view, this has to deal with a couple of guys named Rick and Sean. And they're both best friends. They both work on the police force. And they're both a couple of cops. And they just so happen to be kind of like at work one day, eating in their car and stuff like that. And suddenly, the whole thing shifts slowly over to Rick in the hospital after a accident on the freeway or something. I mean, on the road or something like that. A car spirals out of control, and then there's a massive shootout, and then suddenly Rick ends up in the hospital. All right, that's when everything pretty much starts. When he wakes up to something that basically could only be called an apocalypse. He wakes up to all these bloody bodies on the ground and stuff. He wakes up to dead people walking around, walking around as clear as day, just walking around, half dead people walking around, people's with like half a body walking around and stuff like that. It's not just the zombies about this series that makes it so kind of, what I would say, unique. It's almost what I would call a soap opera with zombies. Now, you've seen every soap opera, there's always some person, there's always drama going on at the same time in these soap operas, while there's some kind of murder plot or something like that, or somebody's having a baby or something like that. You know, The Walking Dead is no different than that. The only difference is that it has zombies in it. That's the only difference. It is a zombie soap opera. That's what I call it, pretty much. So, but, yeah, it is graphic, and some of the makeup effects are just out of this world. I mean, they are the most realistic looking zombies I have ever seen in my entire life. So let's get back to some of what season 1 is about. So there is an episode in here called Guts that pretty much, if you can watch this episode, pretty much you're pretty much ready for the whole entire series, the whole entire rest of the seasons. Guts is probably the most graphic episode I've ever seen in this whole entire series. There really wasn't any other kind of episode that kind of made me kind of flinch a bit when I saw it. I mean, they basically chop up a zombie. I mean, I don't want to give any stuff away, but they basically chop up a zombie and use his guts for camouflage and stuff like that. I've never seen anything like that in a series. Never seen anything like that in a series. Some people sit here and say they're critical. Oh, this show isn't that great. You know, it's just a drama, you know, and stuff like that with a bunch of zombies, you know. I've never seen that in a series. It shocked me. It absolutely shocked me because of the fact that this was actually on TV. I'm not watching this as a horror movie. I'm not watching this as a you know, on HBO or Showtime. I'm watching this on AMC. They actually did that on AMC. Okay. Now, I had watched Hannibal, and yes, some scenes in The Walking Dead are even more graphic than Hannibal. And I was even surprised as how far Hannibal went. Okay, so this and yes, Daryl is an absolute fan favorite. In fact, I'd say that he is the most beloved character in this whole series. Yes, he comes into play in this season right here, the first season. He comes into play, and he was every bit as much as the fans were saying he was. He is my favorite character by far, besides Michonne. Those two characters are probably my favorite out of the whole entire series. Why? Because they're both no-nonsense. They're about the most realistic humans as they could possibly make in this whole entire series. The rest of them are kind of soapy to me. But Daryl and Michonne are both the most realistic characters out of this whole entire series. But Michonne does not come into play in this. She comes into play in season 2. And we'll talk about her in the next video. But I gotta wrap this up. Rick basically then in this takes charge of a group of survivors. Alright? But every single turn Rick goes, he's basically being challenged by these people in problem solving on how these people are going to stay alive. These people know how to kill walkers well, and they know how to kill them. And everybody has killed in this episode. Everybody has killed in this season. Everybody. Now people wake up in a world where murder wasn't... You didn't do it before. It was absolutely intolerable. Now they wake up in a world where they must kill to survive, which is the most interesting thing out of this season alone. Is that they must kill to survive. And that's what makes The Walking Dead so dramatic and such a great series to me, is that imagine if you woke up in a world where you had to kill someone to survive. Kill something to survive. Alright, so I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, so this So, it was a short review. Sorry if I didn't really get into detail on this season. It's a great season. First season. This is a great series. It's 6 episodes. The other seasons are vastly bigger, but this is 6 episodes. This is a 3-disc special edition one, which is probably the one that you should pick up if you really want the series itself. Okay, so I'm going to do another part where I am going to talk about the second and third season, which is kind of like when we get into more the meat of the series, you know. So, thank you for watching.